Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to All in London. Today we're going to be carrying on with the exceptional story, Memories of Mozart. We're going to be putting the pieces together. A melomaniac, a monitor, a thing wearing your face to enact a heist, an auction, a ship to Polythreme, an irigo-lined bag full of stolen exhibits, all of which are accounted for, with the exception of an errant brain. What could it all mean? Well, let's recover our memories. You'll never be able to wholly reclaim your memories from the darkness. Such is irigo. But you have, at least, a general idea. There are still pieces missing, but a general picture emerges. Memories crystallize. Before your amnesia, you were investigating. That's it. A sorrow spider infestation in the Museum of the Medical Macabre. Someone offered you a fine reward. You can't remember who. Perhaps the monitor? It seemed a little off, even at the time. The Ministry of Public Decency was straying into menace eradication's remit. Perhaps you attributed it to the monitor's well-documented hatred for this museum in particular. While you were staking out the place, you fended off an ambush by said spiders. Shortly thereafter, you witnessed a burglary. The culprit was wearing your face, but it was lumpy and misshapen. An insulting facsimile. You gave chase, all the way back to your lodgings, where the robber's accomplice was waiting. A heart in a bed with broken glass. A trap. An irigo-lined bag, stinking of formaldehyde, was pulled over your head, blacking out your memories and rendering you unconscious. During your captivity, your visage and proportions were measured. The monitor and the melomaniac were your captors. Presumably, these measurements improved their mask. Shortly after your kidnapping, someone wearing a much more convincing version of your face hosted an auction, selling off the exhibit. Then, you were loaded onto a boat to Polythreme, and you know the rest. Your memories are mostly back, but unanswered questions abound. The most prudent move would be to return to the museum at once. That is where it all began. Perhaps that is where it ends. Turn to the museum. The shuttered museum is as dark as a tomb. When you enter, the bustle and chaos of Cart Horse Circus seems a distant memory. You find the monomaniacal myticist standing perfectly still, framed by shelves of bottled hearts and pickled lungs. Has he been waiting your return? Okay, so we can hand over the missing exhibits. You found them, though you admit to lacking a brain and a heart. It's a perfect opportunity for a put-down, but he doesn't take the bait. Let's try it. You stowed away the skull in your lodgings. Its incessant shrieking was driving you to distraction, but you hand over the other exhibits in your possession. Merci, merci, mutters the myticist, placing each item reverently on a shelf, moving with the practical efficiency of a blind man who has memorized every inch of his abode. Master Emmy Mead my museum maintains. Casting your eye about, you take some curious specimens from the shelves. You can probably find a use for them. We've got some thigh bones and a humerus. Well, let's ask about the sorrow spiders. This started when you came here to investigate claims of an arachnid infestation. That's what led to your kidnapping. Are there really spiders here? The myticist's teeth gleam in the dark. Many, he says. He retreats into shadow, beckoning. You follow. Well, let's descend into the cellar, huh? The myticist leads you into a back room stocked with empty glass jars and dismantled mannequins. He carelessly removes his dark spectacles and tosses them aside. Beneath, his eyes are ragged, red holes. He kicks aside a rug revealing a trapdoor in the floorboards. With a groan, he pulls up the door, revealing stairs that descend into blackness. Make measured movements, he warns. He vanishes below. Below, you hear the susurrus of chittering. The darkness is total. As you walk down the stairs, hairy things brush their limbs gently across your face. You shield your eyes, just in case, but they don't attack. Once you reach the bottom, the myticist lights a lamp. A sorrow spider is now perched atop his bald head. Its jagged forelimbs are plunged deep into his eye sockets. Marvellous, says the myticist, seeing you for the first time as the spider grants him sight. His movements now are surer, more certain, as he busies himself lighting more lamps. Beyond him, a bizarre sight. Floor to ceiling, wall to wall, the cellar is almost entirely taken up by an immense fibroid orb, woven partially from web and partially from ropes of sculpted flesh. It pulsates gently. Innumerable sorrow spiders within were now within it, big and black as dogs. What is going on here? Find out more about the experiment in the cellar. A machine for measuring the macrocosm, says the myticist softly. My red in misfortune. Taking a step closer, you begin to recognize the contours of the orb. Its tightly knit, pulsing threads resemble the sulci and gyri on a cerebral cortex. It almost looks like some kind of colossal brain. You notice something else. The sorrow spiders are sluggish, listless. They scurry in aimless circles and seem not to even notice your approach. The floor is scattered with their desiccated husks. Okay, let's ask him to explain. What is this? Why is it here? Unfortunately, the myticist's explanations are hindered by his inability to stop compulsively alliterating. Many membranes made from mesh and moulded matter, he says earnestly. The spider on his head twitches as though in pain while he speaks. We meant to manufacture a mind, a mental magnificence. His voice dies away as he stares at something behind you. Oh, the spider council are here. Something writhes within the web brain, parting the membranes like a grotesque birth, dragging itself out with too many limbs. A slick, shuddering mass of clicking pedipalps and glassy eyes and legs. A spider council. Where is the Great One's brain? A seething voice emanates from the Spider Council's core. You didn't expect it to sound so tired. Our work is unfinished. So we can either attack it. Even if it's not aggressive, you will suffer not a Spider Council to live. It's time to burn this place to the ground. Or we can ask it to explain. Is it referring to Laplace's brain? Maybe our only chance to solve the mystery. I'm going to ask it about the brain. The great thinker. His theories. The demon. We wanted to bring it into being. We wanted to measure the universe inch by shining inch. The Spider Council writhes. You didn't think it was possible for such a nightmarish being to look so anguished. But to create his idea, first we needed to recreate his brain. It continues, gesturing towards the massive orb in the cellar. Yet we couldn't even manage that. Too hard, too complex. What hope did we have of the great work that lay ahead of minding every molecule? The Spider Council is babbling now, its words running together. The myticist looks on with a kind of helpless guilt. Spiders within the thing's twisted mass are eating each other, mandibles crunching through carapace. That's why we infiltrated this place, it says. Its voice is slowly becoming an overlapping, self-echoing chorus. To see the brain, to make a model, but this man we made, him meld with us, and his mind made us Monomaniacal, says the myticist, resignedly, as the Spider Council collapses into its component parts, each tearing rabidly at its neighbour. Sorrow spiders spill in all directions as the Spider Council collapses. Some bite maniacally at their fellows, some meander in slow, confused circles. Some appear to be already dead. My masters are moribund, says the myticist, grabbing you by the arm. Their madness is mortal. Move. As you follow him back upstairs, smoke billows through the trapdoor above. You emerge to find the museum already half consumed by crackling flames. Superheated glass jars explode in a flood of formaldehyde. Mannequins melt like candles in a kiln. My museum, says the myticist in a small, frightened voice. The spider on his head scuttles off, leaving him suddenly blind and groping to the walls. We can flee, leaving the myticist to his fate. The alliteration was growing tiresome anyway, or we can help him to the exit. He'll slow you down, but you couldn't abandon a blind man in this conflagration. Yeah, we'll help him. Ouch. You toss your coat over the myticist's head and escort him to the door, step by trembling step. The flames slash at you like claws, leaving red burns in their wake. As the myticist stumbles through the exit and to safety, a gloved hand clamps around your arm, dragging you back into the burning building. Oh no. A mirroring masquerader. You wrest yourself free and turn to your assailant. You find yourself staring into a mirror. No, not a mirror. A thing that's shaped exactly like you. Where's your face as it capers amid the flames? Its assortment of bizarre clothing smoulders. It smiles calmly as one might to greet an old friend. In one gloved hand is an empty can that stinks of paraffin. In its other hand is a knife. It lunges. So we can either fight back or we can flee. Let's fight back. No one wears that face except you. Sidestepping its stab, you strike it about the body once, twice, thrice. The clothes billow and grab at you, seeming to fight back of their own accord. Could it be a clothes colony? But no. There's something beneath the fabric. Your fists crunch upon a hard carapace. No use striking the body. You follow up with a punch to the face. Your blow dislodges the doppelganger's mask as the familiar visage slips aside, and you see what's beneath. A spider. Its 8 eyes bulging, its pedipalps quiveling. It adjusts its face and then stabs at you again. You and the imposter dance back and forth as the flames rise higher and higher. Finally, too much. Smoke is settling into your lungs, and at this rate, you'll both be consumed. You dash for the exit. We found a clue concerning the clothes colonies. You stumble out into the street, choking on smoke. Standing outside the burning museum, with his hands folded neatly behind his back, is the militant monitor. He's flanked by a legion of special constables, flinging more paraffin into the blaze. Did you think we didn't have this place under surveillance? He asks. Moments after you emerge, the mirroring masquerader also lurches out into the cold air, patting out its smouldering clothes. The monitor tilts his masked head. Twins? He says without surprise. Arrest both. We'll find out which is real in the cells. The special constables close in, coughing, retching. You sink to the ground. Well, we can either fight back, but that's not going to work. Or we can just pass out. You've inhaled enough smoke to kill a bear. It's a miracle you survived at all. Let's just pass out. As you fall, the last thing you see is the special constables closing in. Strong hands hook under your arms before you hit the cobblestones. And then nothing. You awaken to find yourself in chains. Sitting opposite you is yourself, also in chains. The masquerader grins horribly. Your face. Keys jangle at the door. Good, you're awake, says the militant monitor, striding into the cell. Without hesitation, he crosses over to the masquerader, clicking open the imposter's manacles. The masquerader stands and embraces its erstwhile captor. Then, the two of them look over at you. You are surely confused, says the monitor, softly. Let's just outline what we've learned. You'll be damned if you let them have the satisfaction of explaining their plot to you. You almost have every piece of the puzzle, you say. I doubt that's true, says the monitor. If so, do explain what you think happened. You proceed to do so. The monitor used his ministry connections to involve you in an investigation of the Museum of the Medical Macabre for a sorrow spider infestation. The infested museum was crucial to their primary goal. They wanted to steal Laplace's brain and finish the work of the spiders, bringing the dead scientist's mind back to life. They stole several other exhibits to conceal this central purpose, framed you for the crime, and conducted an auction of the unnecessary items, raising the funds to send both of you and the melomaniac to Polythreme, using Mozart's skull as a prototype to see if the unnatural energies there could return someone from the dead. It failed, of course, whereupon the melomaniac enacted the next part of their plan, to murder you at Z, dooming you to your final death and allowing them to replace you permanently on their return. After a stunned moment, the monitor claps. More or less correct, he says, then clenches his fist as though in pain. I should say, yes, you understand. Now we can release your duplicate from prison and say you were the fake. Ooh, the monitor or the masquerader have accidentally said a word containing the letter M. Well, we can't do much but listen for now, so I assume the monitor is also a sorrow spider, huh? Did you miss me? Asks the masquerader. It speaks in a perfect echo of the melomaniac's lilting voice. Suddenly you know with certainty that she and the thing wearing your face are one and the same. Watch your words, says the monitor to her sharply. Apologies, says the masquerader, in a voice now a gravel baritone. Ask what they are. Snuffers? Surely it's snuffers, yes? Let's reveal we know what they are. You have followed the clues. If not for these chains, you'd unmask them yourself. Clothes maketh the man. Clothes colonies, imported from Polythreme. No doubt concealed under the monitor's overcoat is a hideous assortment of rags. Whatever the monitor and the masquerader are, they inhabit clothes colonies like hermit crabs, using them to stay vaguely human in shape. Very good, says the monitor, grudgingly. The one thing you haven't ascertained is how they so accurately replicated your face. Once I killed and replicated this fellow, I was able to access this building's secret files on the activities of the face tailor, which proved useful, says the monitor, reaching up to unbuckle his mask. As did our knowledge on the shaping arts owned by our work to replicate Laplace's brain. Now, he reaches up to unbuckle his mask. The masquerader begins to peel your face away. You want to see what we are beneath our clothes? The monitor and the masquerader dance before you in a mad whirl, tearing free their masks. Octagonal arrangements of eyes gaze down at you with mad glee. Pedipalps twitch and drool, bristling limbs branch through gaps in clothing, convulsing. More spider councils, 2 of them, couched in shells of animate clothing. The melomaniac, the monitor, the masquerader, everyone's spiders. Everyone was always spiders. The spiders are twitching strangely. Legs stretch and retract. Things squirm and contort uncomfortably beneath the clothes. Annoyingly, I don't have a momentary mistake yet. So, let's ask about the spiders in the museum. What is their connection? A rival council? Once we were whole, says the masquerader, its voice now a perfect echo of your own. All of us, together as one. We ate scientists' eyes and we learned about Laplace, about the great work he proposed, the web to connect the universe. This grew into our obsession. Then we learned his brain was to be found in London. We infiltrated the building easy enough, says the monitor, faced with a choice between obedience or death. The curator sacrificed his eyes to join us in our endeavour. The issues began when we linked our consciousness with the curator's to fleetingly return the gift of sight. He was infected, an obsession of his own that took rot in our brains. The letter that looks like a spider, says the monitor, quietly, as though hoping the letter M isn't listening. We split and fled the greater hall, says the masquerader. It was the only way to survive, like severing a leg to prevent the spread of infection. Except we were the leg, but such an act is apostasy. The original council would have devoured us if we ever returned, and we had to finish the great work. That's why we planned the heist. So I can ask why they targeted me for a replacement, a city full of people, and they chose to cross you? At first, you were just a convenient scapegoat, says the monitor, a person who could believably be accused of such an ostentatious theft. But after inhabiting your role, I started to believe you were essential to the great work, says the masquerader, an element of admiration in its voice. Don't you see? You connect all things in this city. The web has you at its centre. I begged to take you to Z. I wanted to study how you acted when you were conscious. I don't share this opinion, says the monitor stiffly. We should have just killed you. I can ask about the letter that looks like a spider. How can a letter affect them so badly? Every time you enunciate a word that contains the letter M, the spider councils convulse as though struck. My Mima? We researched our condition, says the monitor. We discovered a Greek concept. It was called... Don't say it, says the masquerader urgently. Mima, says the monitor. And then it convulses violently, a ripple that passes through its entire body. A thought that spreads like a disease, says the masquerader. Thanks to that curator's fixations spreading our own mind, now we see it everywhere. Its arched legs, its pointed body. You hear the thud of approaching boots. The tap, tap, tapping of a cane. The disoriented spider councils hurriedly don their masks and struggle to return their dissolving shapes to vaguely human proportions. Special constable appears at the door, with the mycocist in tow. The curator of the museum wished to see you, sir, says the guard curtly. Said it was important. Well, let's listen to what he has to say. The spider councils quail before him like a pair of doctors suddenly shoved into a room with an infectious patient. My mental mitigation mechanisms made me mentally bored, says the mycicist. I can, with some small effort, disregard my alliterative compulsion, though I don't see why I should have to do so. The spiders, they spiraled when they saw themselves in the letter. They were myriad, and morphological multiplication made 'em more malleable. He pulls a singed and battered journal from his pocket, and sliding it across the table, open to the first page. At a glance, you can see that the diary contains page after ink splotted page of the letter M, in cribbed handwriting. There are spaces and paragraph breaks, but the same letter scuttles endlessly across the paper. It does look like a spider. You can almost see the letters lifting their arched legs and scurrying off the page in a swarm. The masquerader shrieks and tears at the face they're wearing. Your face. The monitor flinches and squirms, but manages to keep up appearances for the guard. "Get him out of here!" shrieks the monitor. As the special constable bundles him away, the myticist points an accusatory finger. "Monster!" he shouts. "Monsters mimicking mortals!" I can pronounce a tongue twister using a certain letter as often as possible. Do I really want to read this out loud? Oh god. Mary makes a mess most Mondays. I miss my Swiss miss, and my Swiss miss misses me. A maid named Lady Marmalade made mainly lard and lemonade. Wow, that went quite well actually. The spider councils hiss and writhe as though you're pouring boiling water on their heads. Make it stop, begs the monitor as its limbs curl like burning twigs. The monitor and the masquerader stand before you awaiting your questions. They seem oddly receptive to conversation. Oh, never mind. Look, we can call for the guards of Hookman House. The spider councils are now much too manic to muster their masks before the ministry men manifest. You raise merry hell. The spider councils are too wrapped up in their delirium to stop you. "What's that racket?" snaps a special constable, opening the door. His face drains of blood as he beholds the two spider councils in the cell, their clothes torn and fluttering, all bristling legs and drooling fangs. Minutes later, the special constables storm the cell. Cudgels rise and fall, carapaces crunch beneath stern blows. A helpful constable bends over and unlocks your manacles for you. Let's get you out of here before... He collapses, screaming, as a sorrow spider drops from the ceiling and begins burrowing into his eye socket. Around you, chaos unfolds. The militant monitor has collapsed. The mask rolling away in scattered flowers, spiders scurrying in all directions as they opt for a more individualistic lifestyle. But the masquerader is making a better accounting for itself. Wearing your face seems to lend it confidence. Several constables lie in bloody heaps at its feet as it moves, a blur of violence. So, I can either flee the scene and the masquerader can chase me, or I can chase the masquerader because it's fled the scene. Let's chase it. You leave Hookman House far behind. Across the city, across the rooftops, down narrow alleys and through forbidden streets. Sometimes you're not sure who's chasing who. Sometimes you swear you can feel a scurrying beneath your skin. Eventually you catch them. Or they catch you. The two of you tumble together into the stolen river. Kill or be killed. Two figures fall into the stolen river, scratching and stabbing at each other. Only one will surface. So, two options. This seems crazy. You emerge. As you climb the riverbank, sodden to the core, you have a scrap of the masquerader's stolen face in your hand. It's over. Use this if you don't want to possibly be spiders. Or A, you emerges. Which one? You will gain a unique hat. but you'll never truly be sure you aren't made of spiders. I want the hat. But I no, I want the hat. Memories are tricky things. As you plunged into the water, you felt spider legs scrambling at your eyes. Memories poured forth. Memories of hatching and scuttling and merging and mimicking. Memories of Mozart. For a moment, you reach your hand to your face, testing the skin. Could it be a mask? Your hand drops. Perhaps you'd rather not know. A tune rises unbidden to mind. You trapeze damply back to your lodgings, humming Serenade number 13. I'm sure it's fine. How bad can it be? It's over. The epilogue can be found in your lodgings. Musings in the mirror. One morning, in your lodgings, you catch your own eye in the mirror. A face looks back that's comfortingly yours. Lost in your thoughts, you suddenly notice a noise, or rather, an absence of noise. You've gotten so used to screaming of Mozart's skull that your ears are ringing in its absence. Let's look beneath our sink. You forgot. This is where you'd stuffed Mozart's skull, waddled up in old newspaper to stifle its incessant screaming unsuccessfully. You unlock this with the disquieting suspicion that you might be spiders. The skull is finally, mercifully mute. But it's multiplied. A second set of eye sockets, nostrils and teeth has mutated miserably from the cranium. It's a sight as melancholy as it is morbid. Mayhaps the mysterious mechanisms of Polythreme. As you maintain your ablutions, you can't move on from the manifestation of the multiple-faced skull. Many memories rise, masticating a human eyeball, the merry pop of juice in your mandibles, making the web that must merge all the macrocosm, as Laplace prophesied. The letter looks like a spider. Your bookshelves are shaking. Swarms of the letter M pour forth from between the pages of your familiar texts. They scurry over your floor, up your limbs, into your eyes. The mirror is making multiple minds manifest. The mind's myriad madnesses, mapped in masses of memories. Minds, mirrored, manifold, must manage more meanings. Many minds, must make more meaningful, must mind more meanings. More. You snap out of it. The vision is over. Your memory of it already fading. You aren't some creature made of madness and spiders. Don't be foolish. The day beckons. You step out into the city, into your city, and it's marvellous. Marvellous, marvellous. And we gained a doubled skull. It has a face on the front and the back. Absolutely fantastic. That was a fantastic ending to a exceptional story. Did I get a hat? I did. A disquieting suspicion that you might be spiders. Watchful +3, persuasive -2, dreaded +1, bizarre +1. Who knows, maybe that will be interesting at some point in my fallen London career here. But I shall thank you all very much for watching this and doing this with me. That was one of the more interesting exceptional stories I've done for a while. The sheer fact that there is a decision at the end that may have far-reaching implications, I don't know. But let me know if you picked the other option, if you picked the I'm definitely not spiders. I'm interested to see how that changes. But like I said, thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Thank you again to the members of the channel and the coffee supporters. It really does mean the world to me. And as always, I'll see you next time.